So I just got out of seeing Dune in the cinema and it was phenomenal. So the very first thing I have to talk about, because it was in my mind the entire way through, was how good this film sounds. And I know it's Hans Zimmer, of course it sounds wonderful, the guy does everything phenomenally, but this is a masterclass. The epic moments, the sentimental moments, the character-driven moments, the suspense, the emotion, it is all perfectly conveyed through the sound. And honestly, Hans Zimmer aside, and maybe 2 or 3 other wonderful composers, you give this to any other composer to score and it is half the movie, I swear. That's not to say the other aspects weren't incredible, because they absolutely were. So I know this is a huge book series, and so I went into it as blind as I possibly could, but expecting a lot of world building, and there was a lot of it. And some wannabe epic fantasy sci-fi series, or like the first in a new series, go really hard on exposition. And I get it, they need to. There's a lot of things that they have to sew into the story, but I've seen it done really badly in a lot of like wannabe mega blockbuster series intros before. I don't need to list them, you know the ones I'm talking about, but this one does it so wonderfully. And here's the thing, there is well over an hour of exposition. They introduce you to characters, family dynamics, different planets, political dilemmas, everything from intergalactic power struggles to singular interpersonal struggles. And it is such a wonderful example of show don't tell. Instead of the main character having a voiceover or them just sitting down and telling you things, they drip feed information bit by bit, and they make it compelling enough for you to want the next part. Honestly, it's all super compelling, character-driven stuff for at least 50% of this movie, probably more, but it's so wonderfully done. The nuance in the dialogue, the acting, the scoring, the moments the characters share. I actually think I preferred those moments of wonderfully drip-fed exposition to some of the larger, more action-packed sequences in the film. Which isn't to say the action wasn't well done, because it was phenomenally done. The score, as we've mentioned, was wonderful. The effects are fantastic. The scale of the bloody thing, and the beautiful thing about how well the exposition was done is that you care so much about characters you've only known for an hour and a half, and there are a lot of them that you care about so much. It's not like there's 1 or 2 characters who dominate the opening hour and a half and you care loads about them, but then there are like minor sub characters on the side that you just sort of take it or leave it. Every single character does its job, and it's done so well, and so you just genuinely care. Like I've said, I tried to go in as blind as I possibly could to this. I watched one trailer because it came on before the Bond movie. I haven't read the books, I haven't read around the series, but I am so invested. I am going to read the books now. But you know, it's Villeneuve, of course he's done a wonderful job of it, and with a cast like they've got, of course it's performed well as well. But look, I need some time to digest this. Just my first thoughts are, this is phenomenal. This is going to be like, I'm so sure this is going to be the next huge sci-fi franchise. Like, I genuinely believe in the future people will talk about Dune in the same breath as they talk about Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and other monstrous franchises. It might be premature, but this genuinely feels like the start of such a giant series. I mean, I know the books are already huge, but from like a film perspective, as someone who hasn't read the books, that's how it feels. Like how Lord of the Rings was a huge book, but the movie sort of brought it into the forefront for the next generation, my generation, and made it such a huge thing for us. Although with that being said, I've read that Warner Brothers made them hold off on filming any part of Dune 2 until they saw whether Dune 1 did very well, like just in case it completely flopped and lost them a ton of money, which I guess is kind of a smart business move, but I'm really worried that we'll have like Avatar syndrome. And I know there's not going to be as long of a break between Dune 1 and Dune 2 as there is between Avatar 1 and Avatar 2, if that ever comes out. But what I would have loved is if they did what Peter Jackson did with Lord of the Rings and just filmed them all together so that you got them in much more of a rapid succession. That said, I'm excited to watch this a number of times, as well as try and read the books, so I guess there's no rush for the next part. But those are my first thoughts. I'm going to go home and digest them. Let me know what you thought if you've seen it, and if you haven't, let me know if you're excited for it. If you enjoyed this review, I know it's super raw and off the cuff, but if you enjoyed it, please drop a like below. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll be making a bunch more film reviews soon. If you want to see more from me, there's a bunch of links in the description where you can find me across the internet. And I guess I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.